Hey guys, so this is my answer to how much has my education at U of I played a role in my success today. It's a really tough question. I think in general, academia is way overinflated in terms of its importance to a musician's career, and anybody's career actually. The academia has turned into sort of a just a postponing of adulthood for a lot of people in a playground. But that being said, it can also have a profoundly positive impact for students who take it seriously and use it as a learning opportunity to become more of an expert in whatever it is that they want to do for a living. So for me, it was very important for me to get my vocabulary together. So that's what school does. That's like the main value that a university education has on any student. It will teach you the vocabulary. It won't teach you the essence of sorry, my emails keep popping up. Closing that. It won't teach you the essence of what it takes to be a jazz musician, but it will teach you the vocabulary and the surface of how a jazz musician sounds. Now I know that's a little weird, and we have to examine that, we have to dig a little bit deeper. So what is being a jazz musician, and why did jazz become something that it was, that so profoundly affected society and became something that's incorporated into all music today? And the answer is the mentality. So this is a mentality that was, it's a few specific pieces. There's the mentor-disciple relationship. All the early jazz artists had a mentor, and they were a disciple of somebody who really knew what they were doing in terms of how to build new creative music. And that was the other essence of the jazz mentality, was building something that is pushing the boundaries. Every jazz musician that had any significance in history was always pushing boundaries, and that's something that they don't teach you in academia. And they did not teach me at University of Illinois. They taught me how to play within the idiom of jazz. And when I tried to play outside of the idiom of jazz, it was seen as wrong. But it's those people who can get in the university setting and take the vocabulary, language, and the discipline, because that's another very powerful thing that academia can do for you, is teach you discipline in how you practice music. It taught me how to practice, essentially. So I took that discipline, and people like Michael League from Snarky Puppy took the discipline he learned in, well, actually, I can't speak for him. I can speak for myself. I'm assuming on Michael's part. But what I saw Michael do after he graduated was go on to create really interesting, innovative music. And actually, after he left, I don't even know if he necessarily graduated. He might have graduated. I'm assuming he did. But when he left university, what I did as well was take that mentality of understanding the vocabulary and expanding upon it and building something that is uniquely you, that was uniquely me, to go out into the world and create create a new path for myself that took into consideration the history of it, but also I found a mentor for myself. First it was Robert Irving III, and then Herbie Hancock, and I used that mentor-disciple relationship to learn the tenets of jazz, of thinking, of collaborative music, of improvisation, of thinking beyond labels and beyond genres, of letting go of preconceived notions, letting go of judgment, all these different aspects that play into how to create genuinely good new music that reflects your heart and soul. And I used my vocabulary from music school, and then the mentality in the real world that I learned from mentors to create my real career, which is centered around my own creativity. So for me it was very important, but I see a lot of people get stuck in academia and only focus on the vocabulary, and that's why you have a ton of like really solid players being pumped out of universities that will never have a career in music because they're not doing anything original and unique, and they're not like pushing something new out into the world that can then be embraced and progress culture forward, which is what jazz was about in the first place, among other things. So That's my long-winded answer to yes, kind of. Uh, there's also, there's also something to be said for just going into a city and learning, finding a mentor at 18 years old, and going to New York and hitting the ground like scrambling. The laws in the U.S. make it kind of difficult because under 21 you can't really get into bars, but it's still possible to find a mentor and play in settings and learn without the academic institution. And if you can do that, I've seen that be more powerful for people on average than going into an academic institution, because there are just so many like musical zombies pumped out of academic institutions. But the New York or whatever lifestyle, when you go into a major city and learn from a mentor just like on the streets, essentially, it's not for everybody, and it's really hard, and it wasn't for me. So it was nice for me to get that sort of like padding into the real world from my university experience. Hope that answers your question. Let me know if you have more. Thank you.